Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a lovely new year. I'm back again and today I'm here with quite a tough video. I'm going to talk about 20 things that I learned in 2020 and let's hope I can get through this without crying because it's been a really tough year and I've learned a lot and I'd like to share that with you. So I'm just going to get straight into it. It's tough, it's deep, it's raw, so we'll just get into it. 20 things I have learned in 2020. So number one I would say is speaking out 100% helps, and I know people share this on Facebook, Instagram, everyone always says speak out, like if you're struggling, you're having a hard time, you're in a bad place, speak out, and it actually really does help. And I never really understood that until I'd gone through that myself, and then when I did talk about it I just felt like a massive weight had been taken off my shoulders and it made everything 100 times better. So I've definitely learned that speaking out, just do it. Like, it's nothing to be embarrassed about, you're not annoying anyone. If you're having a tough time, you're bad time, you're in a bad place, speak out, because honestly it could save your life. It definitely saved mine. I think the second thing that I learned in 2020 is to be grateful. I'm grateful of my friends, I'm grateful of my family, and to be grateful for what you've got, because one day it's them, everything might not be there anymore. And I think we've learned this year more than ever, things can get taken away so quickly. Rules, you can't see your friends, so just be grateful. I'm trying so hard this year just be grateful for everything I do have and maybe not so much ungrateful for things that I don't or can't have. I think another thing I learned in 2020 is I don't need everything done by the age of 30. I thought by the time I hit 30 I want to be married, kids, house, I want everything done, and this year I learned I don't need to rush. I can start at 30, but I hit 25 this year and I just had a lot of worry that, oh my god, I'm halfway to the time that I need to have everything done by, and I don't. I've got till I want to get things done, and I think I'll probably start at 30, maybe not so much have everything done for 30, but I know when I did hit 25 there was that panic, that worry that, oh my god, I've only got 5 years to get everything done, and that scared me. But now that doesn't scare me at all. It is fine. Do not worry, there is no time clock on anything. If you want to do it when you're ready, don't think that you have to have it done by a certain date, because you don't. And I'm just really happy that I learned that. I appreciate that now and don't have to start worrying about silly things like that. Another thing I've learned in 2020 is to love myself, and not in a big-headed way, but to just be confident, happy, just love yourself. You have to love yourself or nobody else can love you. And I just think through me losing weight I learned to love myself again and just to be happy. And my body's not perfect, I need to lose more weight, but I am happier and I'm more confident, and I do love myself 100 times more than I did maybe at the start of 2020. So I'm just really grateful for that. Another thing I've learned in 2020 is the appreciation for exercise. If you'd said to me at the beginning of 2020, you're going to love exercise, it's going to be great for your mental health, I would have just been like, what? No, pass me another piece of pizza. I was not an exercise person. I now love exercise. I love what it can do for you mentally, physically. I just feel 10 times better once I've exercised, and I learned that this year. I also now appreciate someone who is, say, very toned, worked out a lot, a six-pack, muscles. These are men and women. I'm not just thinking, oh, men are really hot now, but I appreciate that they've had to work so hard to get to that, where before I was like, oh, he's got a six-pack, or she does weight training, where actually now I appreciate that is really hard to do to get there. You've trained and you've worked so hard to get there, so I appreciate exercise now on so many different levels. Another thing I learned in 2020, which I'm not saying I didn't know before, but I learned kind of more in a more personal way, is be kind. You have no idea what other people are going through and you really need to think before you say things. Obviously I have known this before and I did think I was quite careful about what I say to people, but someone said and did something to me this year, the end of this year, which really hurt me, and said some things and kind of like tried to embarrass me in front of a group of people, and they had no idea what I was going through at the time. A lot of things that I might touch a little bit on in this video, but not many people do know. I've only spoke to a very small number of people about it. So this person had no idea what I was going through, but what they did and said made my situation 10 times worse, where I wouldn't get out of bed, I couldn't stop crying, and they had no idea they'd done that to me. They had no idea, they still don't know, have any idea that they did that to me. They made my situation 10 times worse, but it just made me think people have no idea what other people are going through. So just be kind, don't troll people, don't insult people, don't laugh at people, because you have no idea what's going on at home, what's going on in their head, and you could be the thing that tips them over doing something really silly. So just always be kind. Just think you do not have any idea what other people are going through, and it's so fragile. So another thing I learnt this year is don't depend on anyone else for your happiness. I was in nearly a 7-year relationship that came to an end this year, and it was tough. It really, oh God, I can feel myself getting upset. Woo! When you're with someone for so long, it does get really hard to not be with them anymore. Hopefully you can't see my tear marks. When you have been with someone for so long, they are a comfort blanket for you, and even though you probably shouldn't be with them anymore, you are still with them, and it drags out for too long. Oh my God, I can't stop crying. So that relationship did come to an end this year. That was my choice. I did end it, but it doesn't make it any easier. But don't depend on anyone else for your happiness. I need to be happy myself, for me, and I don't think I ever will again depend on someone else for my happiness. I need to be independently happy, and I learned that the tough way this year. Another thing I learnt this year, carrying on from relationships, is I learned what I want in my next relationship, the things that I will put up with, the things that I will not put up with again, and I'm kind of grateful for that. It's kind of put me in a new level of I know what I deserve better, and I will not settle for less than that now, which is not in like a big-headed way, but I know now that I will not go through those things again. I will not be treated like that again, and I am grateful for that. I now know that I don't have to do that again, and I am stronger now to not have to put up with stuff like that. So yeah, I know exactly what I want in a relationship in the future now, which maybe I thought, oh no, I can't have that, I don't deserve that before, well no, I know I do, and I will in the next relationship. Another thing I learned in 2020 is I actually don't care what other people think of me. I think starting a YouTube channel is a massive, massive thing. You're putting yourself out there. It's kind of like you're opening yourself up to be insulted, like it's part of the job kind of thing. And if someone commented and called me something nasty now on YouTube in person, I wouldn't care, because I've learned to love myself, and your words now can't upset me. I'm stronger now. And I think before, when I was bigger and I was more unhappy, I think everything I told myself then and put myself in such a low place, I've got rid of all those issues now. I've defeated all those problems. So there's nothing you can say that I, one, haven't said to myself when I was in the lowest place possible, or two, that I'm stronger now, so you can't actually upset me. And I think that's a good, strong mindset to be in. Another thing I learnt this year is nobody's gonna give it to you. If you want it, you have to work hard for it, and you're not gonna win the lottery and become a millionaire. If you want to make money, you're gonna have to go out there and work hard for it. Nobody's just going to gift you the future that you want. You have to go and do it. And this year I learned, not so much the hard way, but I learned that I have to do it myself. It's me on my own doing it. It'll be so much better me doing it myself. Another thing I learned this year, which might be a little bit of a not a big deal to other people, but when I was in a relationship for a long time, you kind of start depending on someone for everything, to go places, to do stuff. And I think as my confidence was so knocked because I was much bigger, I learned this year that I can actually do things on my own, which might sound really silly to you, but I wouldn't go for a walk on my own. I wouldn't go to the supermarket on my own. I think a mixture of anxiety, being depressed, being bigger, thinking people were staring at me. I couldn't do those things. And now this year I've gone on long walks on my own. I've gone to the supermarket on my own. So many things that might sound so small to you, but it was kind of like a really big achievement to me to be able to do those things. So I'm just really proud that I know I have done it, and I know I can do it again. I don't need somebody else. So this year it has been really, really tough. I have been furloughed twice. But another thing I've learnt this year is I'm just so grateful for my family, the fact that they could financially look after me when my wage was cut so low. Furlough is 80%, but I wasn't getting 80% because I relied so hardly on my tips. I cut my working hours down because I was doing so well, so that I could say 50% hours, 50% tips, and tips are included in your allowance for furlough. So the government will tax you on them, but they don't include them in your income for the year. It's only your working hours. So instead of getting 80%, I was getting more like 40% of my wage, which is just, you can't live off it. It's not doable. So I'm just really grateful for my family, for supporting me, for looking after me, and I'm grateful that they could be in a position to do that, because I know a lot of people couldn't. It's been a really tough year, and I feel for a lot of people. I've had it tough, but a lot of other people have had it so much worse. So I'm just grateful and thankful for my family's support. So another thing I've learnt this year is that I have a binge eating disorder. I didn't know I had this at the start of the year. It's only through learning, speaking, losing weight that I've actually found that I had this problem. And now I know about it, I can deal with it better. I can move on with my life with it. It's not going to go away, but I have to learn to not trigger it, or if it is being triggered, how to not make it worst case scenario. But I didn't know that at the beginning of the year. I do now. It's not the end of the world. It's just something I have to be more conscious of now. Another thing I learnt this year is it's okay to be sad. It's okay to not be okay. Oh my God, don't cry again. I had a really, really, really tough year, and it's okay to have a tough year. It's okay to be sad and not be okay. It's not a bad thing. I mean, it's not a good thing to be sad, but do not be embarrassed if you're sad. Do not feel like you can't talk to someone because you're sad. It is okay to be sad. It's okay to have those days, to have those weeks. Take that time for yourself, build yourself back up, speak to somebody if you are very sad and you need to, but it is okay to be sad. Another thing I learnt this year is I'm so much stronger than I thought I was, mentally, physically, emotionally. I didn't realise I could cope with everything I've been put through this year. I didn't think I could lose the weight. I thought I didn't have any willpower. I didn't think I could actually exercise to the levels that I can do. I am so much stronger than I ever thought I was or I could be, and I'm proud of myself. I really am proud of the person I've become, I'm becoming, 2020 has been an awful year, but it's kind of shaped me into the person that I am and the person that I needed to be, so I am grateful for that. I'm definitely stronger. Another thing I learnt this year is I deserve better, and I won't be treated like that again. If it's in a relationship, it's a friendship, it's by family, I know I deserve better, and I know I will not be treated like that again by anyone. It takes being able to walk away from something like that to know that that's not okay, that's not how other people live their lives. You shouldn't have been treated like that. My friends were telling me for years that is not normal, do not be treated like that, and I put up with it, and I now know I will not put up with that by that person again. I won't be treated like that again by anyone else. I deserve better. I am a good person and I deserve to be treated nicely and not like that. Another thing I learnt this year is if you're not going to make the same amount of effort with me, this is again family, friends, relationships, if you're not making that effort with me, I am now not going to make that effort with you. Obviously, people have, again, down days, they might not be in a good place, they might be really busy, but if a relationship in any situation, friendship, family, if that relationship is one-sided, you are the only person making effort, they are just using you or only coming around when they need something, they're not there for you and supporting you as well, cut that off. I am not doing that anymore. This year I have learned, if you don't make that effort with me, I am not making that effort with you anymore. I'm not running around after you. I'm not chasing you for friendship, for relationships. Again, I deserve better. Another thing I think I learnt this year was that the weight on the scales doesn't matter. It's your confidence, it's your happiness that actually does matter. So going on to next year, I want to maybe not so much hit a certain goal, but I want to just be happy, confident, toned up, and I'm going to still keep weighing myself because I want to see that I'm decreasing my weight, but I want to just be happy, I want to feel confident, I want to be more like, oh, I look good in this, than, oh, I've hit this weight. So I just think I've learnt this year that it's not all about the number on the scales, it is being happy and confident and just feeling good in your own skin. I think another thing that I've learnt this year is everything can change in a second. I don't think we've ever had a year like 2020 before where I don't even know what happened to the world. People lost jobs, people lost family. It's just insane. The fact that you weren't allowed to meet your friends, like everything and anything can change in a second. I lost my granddad this year, so one second he's there, one second he's not. It's just, he wasn't ill, there was nothing wrong with him, but he did pass this year, and it's just another thing that happened this year that I just can't get over. Just crazy that this year has turned out the way it has, but everything can change in a second. Life is too short. Do what you want to do, put yourself first, be selfish, just be happy. And the last thing that I learned in 2020 is my friends are my rocks. I can't explain. I have the best friends. I always have. I've always been very grateful for the friends that I have. But this year, I honestly could not have got through this year without them. I was in a really bad place. I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone. And there was this one certain friend which I told her everything. I broke down, she broke down, she was mortified, but she was there for me, and just by talking to her, I felt 100 times better. I got it all off my shoulders. I felt like I didn't want to feel that way or be that way anymore, and she constantly checked in on me. If I didn't reply in like an hour, she was worried, and I did feel really guilty because I felt like I felt better from talking to her, but then she felt worse because she knew, and she was glad that she knew how I felt, but then she was constantly worried about me. But I'm better now. She's okay now. But honestly, I wouldn't be here now without her, and I'm just so grateful for her, my other close friends, and I'm just so lucky to have such a good friendship circle. Like, your family are great and they are, but sometimes you might feel like you can't talk to your family about things, or maybe you can't talk to your friends about things. But I just learned this year that my friends are my rocks. Other friends were sending me flowers, just being amazing, just being there when I needed them. Like, it's an awful year and they were going through stuff as well, and they were still there for me 100% whenever I needed them, and I'm just so grateful for them. So they are the 20 things that I learned this year. It's been a tough year for me, probably for you, for everyone. Everyone's gone through some sort of heartache, some loss, some disappointment, some sort of depression, anxiety. Everyone has been through something and it's been tough, but we've all gone through it, and I hope you've got someone you can speak to. If not, message me whenever. I'm always free to talk to someone, and yeah, it is okay. 2021 will be better, I promise. I hope. I hope it will. I'm sorry for getting emotional, I'm sorry for crying on you guys, but it's real, it's raw, and it is what 2020 was. It was there to knock me down, to build me back up. I have learned a lot of things in 2020, but I also lost a lot of weight, and I learned a lot of positives about myself. So let's not write off the whole year. It was tough. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's long and it's emotional, but please leave a comment down below. Maybe something you've learnt this year, something you're proud of. But thank you again. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.